How many times have you sat down on the sofa to enjoy a cup of coffee, and that's the exact moment that you have an epiphany? But all of your devices are in another room on charge, and you don't have a pen and paper to scribble it down. That's happened to me so many times. So with a new studio and a lot of new inspiration, I never want to miss another idea. So I'm going to try and build something that will allow me to solve that problem. Let me explain. Now, like most creatives, I love a good whiteboard. They're great for scribbling down ideas, you can wipe them out afterwards, use it over and over and over. But I don't want to have to get up from the sofa where I'm enjoying my coffee, go to my whiteboard, write the idea down, and ruin my break. So how do I combine a whiteboard with a table, whiteboard coffee table? That's what I'm going to build today. In my old studio, I took one of these industrial light boxes from an old theatre company and converted it into a desk with scaffolding legs, which you saw in the previous video. Well, this is the other half of it, and in the old studio, I used it as a light box to draw on. But the electrics don't work anymore, and it's too big to fit in the space, so I'm going to take this and convert it and make it from a light box into a whiteboard. The first thing I have to do is take this apart so I can figure out what needs to be stripped out, where I need to cut things, and how to put it back together as a workable coffee table in the future. So I need to take this apart. Okay, the first part of deconstructing the table is done, and I've got the big heavy metal base plate out, which supported all of the wiring and lighting. Don't need it anymore. Now I've been left with the wooden shell, which is 3.5 foot wide by 6 foot tall, which is just too big. So I need to do some measurements, figure out how big I want the coffee table to be before I disassemble this any further and start cutting. Measure twice, cut once, let's go. Okay, here's a really quick sketch of the table so I can show you the plan. So the table is currently 3.5 foot wide and it needs to be 2 foot wide. So I need to cut 1.5 foot out of this bit and scrap all of that. I then need to figure out how to build a wooden frame inside here with some battens to support some MDF sheets on top, which the whiteboard table will be. So I'm going to start figuring out where to cut this out, cut the batons and fill this up so it can work. goal is that once this piece is cut out, these end plates will fit nice and snug back in, add all the brackets, add all the corner pieces, and this will be the new size of the table. Let's go. Before I go much further with this, I have to figure out where the other feet holes are going to be, so I can mount these brackets on the underside and have evenly spaced wheels in all four corners. So I'm going to measure the gap between here, do them on this side, drill them out, mount these, and then I can put the wooden frame in. Okay, so day one progress, I got the table cut down, the frame built, the sides back on, and tomorrow I'm going to come back in and cut the end panels down, add these brackets on which I need to cut at an angle, add all these corner brackets back on, and then put whiteboard sheet on here, put the frame in, add the whiteboard on top, put the wheels on, coffee table. Okay, I've come in today and I've finished cutting all of the end pieces, all of the metal trim down to size, and I've mounted everything back onto the table. It looks exactly like it did before, but just a skinnier version of it. I've got the wheels back on and nice and secure. The next job is to flip this over, put the frame in, and then turn this piece into a whiteboard to sit on top. Then I can wheel it in front of the sofa, enjoy a coffee, and doodle some ideas. So I'm going to crack on and finish this project. Okay, the only thing I had to do to get this in, because it sits so flush to the table, is take this top metal trim off, then I can slot it back in, put this back over the top, screw it back in the sides, good as new. Now I can put the whiteboard on top. Whew. So the last thing I have to do for the coffee table is to cover this sheet of MDF in this whiteboard paper, but it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to roll this out, trim it to size, and stick it down. Let's go. Okay, so here is my idea. I'm thinking I'm going to treat this whiteboard like a canvas. So this wood is 12mm and I've got 8mm staples, so it won't go all the way through. So if I fold this around the back, staple it in like a canvas, then it should create a nice tight seal that won't slip off. But if anything goes wrong in the future, I can take it off from the back and stick another sheet of whiteboard on and start again. So I'm going to try that. Before I finish, I wanted to reunite these two halves of the industrial light box that used to be used on stage in theatre companies and show you how I've made two different kinds of table that are going to work in the studio. This big one is the original size. I've added scaffolding legs and it still has the original light tubes underneath it. And the other half is now a whiteboard coffee table. So all I have to do now is build stuff on this and move this in front of the sofa so I can enjoy a coffee and doodle some ideas. So this is the finished whiteboard coffee table and it's turned out better than I could have hoped. I can see myself sitting here a lot, enjoying coffee and drawing a lot of ideas on this over the coming years. Now in the next video, I'm going to be finishing this room and the office, hanging all the artwork and completing the studio. So please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you never miss a future video. And if you haven't already, please check out createscene.com. It's a social network site I set up. It's free, it's for creative people, so go and sign up, make a profile, and I will see you on there very soon. Thanks for watching.